Elon Musk, who owns Twitter now, he hinted that the logo may well change. And he's gone through with his promise. I was surprised, as many people were, when my little blue bird disappeared, to be replaced by an X. This is a new official logo. It's literally an X. It is not fancy. It is it's an X. And many people are asking, what on earth is behind this? Is this a marketing stunt? He's now also gone ahead, the bird being removed there, as you can see, from the building in San Francisco as well. The headline there, Twitter's blue bird comes crashing down. The police were called in, by the way, because they didn't have the appropriate permission, it seems, to actually take down the blue bird. So essentially, what is behind this? What is going on? And is he a brilliant man? Is he a maverick? What's the detail here? Well, I'm delighted to say that joining us now is Fang, who is from my Weekend Breakfast show. He is a tech expert based in Sydney, Australia. Good evening to you, Davis.
Good morning, David. It's great to talk about Twitter again, isn't it?
Well, it is. You understand this more than I do. Now, many of us are thinking, well, what on earth is going on? The bluebird disappears, we've got an X, but actually, they say the corporate line is this is about a whole shift in the direction of Twitter.
Yes, I think at this point we can say that Elon Musk is officially insane. If he hadn't already done so, we could say that this is the moment where he's flushed his $44 billion purchase of Twitter down the toilet. He's changed the Twitter branding from the iconic bird to X, just X. I don't know about you, but I think that the Twitter logo in this incarnation is probably one of the most iconic logos in the world. And now he's changing it to something so generic that not only does it feel like that, I don't know, a 13-year-old teenager imagined it, but it's completely uncopyrightable. The logo is stolen from a Unicode font, which is open source by definition, and X is just a letter that everybody's used in some way. But as you might have mentioned before, David, for those of us who have followed Elon's movement in the recent past, the rebranding of Twitter to X is no real surprise. Rather, it's the way that it's come to be that is so strange, because it feels like that there's been no planning whatsoever into the creation of X. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But the rumblings of X have been around for a little while. When Musk bought Twitter in October last year, he mentioned that the purchase of Twitter was just the accelerant into the creation of X, which is a super app. And I don't know if you know, but super apps are quite well known in the East.
So let's just hang on a minute. Let's just back up. Let's go back up, because the bird, you're right. A corporate brand takes a long time to build. You've got a bird. The Twitter is the noise a bird makes. You have tweets. So essentially, you're right. He has destroyed the entire brand with this X, because apparently you're not even going to be called tweets anymore. They're going to be called X's. No.
Yes, that is just absolutely abhorrent, isn't it? To call your little ramblings X's.
But also, so interestingly, Twitter's new CEO, Linda, and this is probably where you're coming on to, Linda Yaccarino, said that this is more than a rebranding. X is going to be the platform that can deliver everything. It is the future state of unlimited interactivity, centered in audio, video, messaging, payments, banking, a global marketplace for ideas, goods, services, and opportunities. I have no idea what she's talking about.
Basically, what she's talking about is turning Twitter into a super app. I don't think it's a particularly original idea, because in China there's an app called WeChat, which is sort of like WhatsApp cross Facebook on steroids. The idea of a super app is that instead of having your phone with multiple apps on it, like, you know, a few social media apps, some payment apps, a banking app, a taxi app, and so on, the idea of a super app, like what X is going to become, is to put all of those into the one app. This is what WeChat is to the Chinese. Not only do they message everybody they know on the app, but they use WeChat money to buy their groceries, to pay for their meals. They even gamble with it. And just to trust one app with all that information and influence is really scary, if you ask me. And but this is what X is to become for Musk, the everything app.
So just in terms of that, I mean, it's really fascinating. So, I mean, you said right at the beginning he's insane, but maybe he isn't. Maybe he's a great genius. Maybe, I mean, he says he bought X.com years and years ago, that he's had this plan for a very long time. I mean, he did splash out, as you rightly say, $44 billion buying Twitter, and then has basically destroyed that brand. It seems a very odd move to me, unless you have a brilliant plan sitting behind it.
I think we've seen from Elon's movement over the past year that although some people may see him as being a little bit of a genius, it just seems like he's going from one disaster to another with no real coherent plan. And he does have this obsession with X as well. You know, his first foray into banking was X.com in the late 90s, which turned into PayPal. We've had SpaceX. We've got, you know, the Tesla Model X. He just seems obsessed with this X. So I don't really think that the Everything app has been an idea of his for long at all. It's more of just inspiration from the Chinese, really.
So just in terms of the way this is going down, so on my desktop here, it has changed to an X. On my phone,
Yes.
I still have a blue bird at the moment, whether it remains to be seen. But just in terms of the tech community, what's the response to doing this?
The tech community overall has been very negative about this move, mainly because it is such a generic name. Twitter has had so much goodwill from the tech community for so long because it's been there since the beginning of social media, really. And to change it to something so generic, for something that the logo isn't even copyrightable for, is just a ridiculous idea. And I just don't feel that it will do Twitter's, or X's rather, fight against Meta's threads any favours whatsoever.
Well, Dave, it's very good to talk to you. Why don't you X me later instead of tweet me later? And I look forward to seeing you on Sunday morning for Weekend Breakfast. Thank you very much indeed for your time.